Hello everyone, and welcome to a round 5 match at the Worcester Sheriff event. Cards up to and including Nightmare at Noon for this tournament. So no new factions, even though Chris has a very lovely playmat here of one of the new dudes from the 108 Righteous Bandits. But Chris playing Morgan, original Morgan on the left, with Irving, Nathan Shane and Max Bain and Travis to start, whereas Dan on the right, he's playing Morgan Gadgetorium, with Irving, William Specs, Jake Smiley, Carl Wagner, and Travis. So both starting Travis and Irving. Force field there, going on to Carl. So he's unbooting with the Gadgetorium same ability. Chris is going to pass, which indicates he doesn't have a lot at the moment. But William Specs inventing Circle Emerald. So that's with his second ability. Obviously better than so unlikely Chris. I mean, Chris, you've seen Jax. I can't remember what else we had in his low ball hand, but he's got the 7 for Nathan Shane. Maybe he's running kidnapping, so Specs might be in trouble, but I think you'd still kidnap Irving here just in case. Stephen Wiles for Dan. Going to cycle that through his hand and possibly have a shootout here. Nathan Shane runs home. Yeah, so I don't see Dan keeping Stephen Wiles. No backroom deals. Up to Nightmare at Noon, it's Stephen very much a staple, I think, of many top decks still. Nothing really to stop you playing them over and over unless you can kill him, and no one really wants to go after after Stephen when he's got those 3 stud bullets. With Max Bain deck, you're likely to be seeing 10s, jacks, queens, and kings, and probably 10 jack and queen most. El Carajo there for Dan. Chris still passing. I can't quite see what he's got in hand. He's got a Laquema there, so I presume he has no deeds or anything else substantial to speak of, so he's just trying to cycle as many cards as possible. That's why he played Flight of the Lepus in the original label hand, even though there was no one to move home. But Dan's got a Circle as well as his dudes. He's starting to get some upkeep, so El Grajo does an upkeep and no influence, but it's 2 pair on the left for Chris against I think 2 pair for Dan. Yes, so Chris is Dan had kings and queens, Chris on jacks and 10s. So yes, I think it's very much 10 jack queen for Chris. I mean, you don't really want to go kings just because it doesn't offer that many dudes, especially before the light shinies where we've got the extra experienced dudes. Rapier onto Nathan Shane. Quaterman coming out for Dan, so he's going to be probably going to get that force field and be fodder. Dan just transferring the force field there, and so now I imagine Nathan might call out Travis. And Travis may probably just accept. Difficult. So looks like there's a Nightmare at Noon there, Point Blank, Unprepared, and Lane Healy. So yes, so Lane is calling out Travis. Chris's Travis joins, and the Force Field Quaterman also joins. So he's got 5 ranks to play with here. El Grajo also joining, and Kyle as well. So it's I don't know if you've watched my other videos. Nightmare at Noon there for Chris. It's not going to reduce Quaterman's bullets or give him make him a draw. It's much like Sun in Your Eyes cannot make him a draw. Neither can Nightmare at Noon, the headline there. So it's 1 stud and 3 draw for Dan. And it's 3 stud for Chris. He's just contemplating here whether to use Nathan Shea or not. Seen the point blank in his hand, so that's I think the toss up here is you either boot Nathan Shane to get rid of a card and then perhaps cheat more freely, or you save him, make sure you get that point blank off and kill somebody else. Still 5 ghost shot though, so probably the better move not to try and discard someone. Or sorry, to discard cards from hand, because even if he does cheat, Dan's got the 5 money to go evens. He'll lose El Grajo, which he's just played. He's on value for the deck, doesn't really care about losing. And then Chris will have to lose Travis. I mean, not unfair, but probably that's a win for Dan, I think, by any means. He keeps he's got more dudes out already, especially with influence. Only 3 for Chris, so he can't really contest that many deeds. I mean, anyone, and if he loses, if he has to go home booted with Nathan Shane, then he's only got 2 dudes at the moment. Circle M stays in for another round. More Ghost Rock coming in for Dan. So I think that they draw here. It's evens, but Chris, he's thrown away the Joker, gone for cheating 5 of a kind versus 4 of a kind. I'm not sure if they're. I don't think they're legal. It's difficult to tell with Dan. He's sort of just slightly too far away, and with a bit of light shining on them to make it difficult. So Nathan is going to point blank someone. He says he wants to point blank the Quaterman, but actually Dan will choose. So he's going to lose Carl. I probably would have lost El Grajo there. Maybe he feels he wants to be more shooty than Chris has shown that he's running a lot of. He's much on deck. He's got like 5 kings there, so maybe he's not on Jack. I thought it was 10 Jack Queen. Maybe it's 4 by 12 rather than 316. The king is, or the king just be one of his better values, and he doesn't want to. Give it up, but yeah, so that's interesting. He didn't play the unprepared. I think he should have played the unprepared. Although, yeah, I think you can still, or can you play an unprepared on a Quaterman? I think you can, because it's boot a dude and their attached. So it's choose a dude, boot that dude and their attached cards. Well, so you can't boot the Quaterman, but yeah. So here's the unprepared. So not using it. So I'm interested to see why you didn't do that first round. If you thought about staying, especially with the cheating 5 of a kind, it would have stopped him using force field, so he would have taken an extra 2 casualties from that. Sorry, he would have taken an extra casualty, so only with ace, so perhaps not as dangerous as it seemed, but it's still 1 draw, 1 stud for Dan. He also has a strong deck. I mean, it's difficult for Chris at this point to know. So it's both got 4 houses. I think they're both cheating, but. Yeah, so Chris just saying there that he should have lost it first time around, but he didn't. I don't think it would have made a huge difference because he still would have aced. So I think he's just been unlucky there in the draw in the second shootout round. He's not. It's not made a huge impact because it's 2 hand ranks different. Whereas when they draw, they both take a casualty anyway. So I mean, he wouldn't have lost Travis first round, so he could have kept him. He could have lost him there in that second round where they drew on a full house, and he'd still have Nathan Shane. So perhaps it's a mistake, but I don't think it's horrendous by any means. But he's now down to just 4 influence with both Max Bain and Irving Patterson. Really needs to win low balls, I think, is his core here. He sees a Joker. Pair for that. Chris is going to win low ball again. Yeah, so Chris just informing Dan that he's lost both Jokers, which, so he hasn't actually. One is in his discard pile. He lost that. He didn't use that in his cheating 5 of a kind. I think that's the right move there. If you can't make the legal 5 of a kind from your 4 of a kind plus a Joker, and you have a cheating 5 of a kind anyway, you might as well save the Joker for a later round. Huntsman for Chris. That's going to save his income. Oh no, it doesn't save his income. Huntsman is 10 or higher, isn't it? Oh, I really should try and remember these important deeds. Irving making a Jackson strike. Yeah, no, so it's 10 or higher, so it does reduce Max's upkeep as well. So Chris starting to see some money. Jake going over to Circle. Pat's Perch came out for Dan. Jake's gone over to Circle M. Not quite sure of the reasoning there. Maybe just to call somebody out. Maybe he is at home. He's just erroneously standing there. At home, I mean, it could be at home. Normally, many players lay out all their dudes behind their home to indicate they're at home. Our man McDrost. He's going to go and get a control point, I imagine, from Jackson Strike. And Chris is passing, I imagine. Well, yeah, the Quaterman at the moment is the problem. He's probably not going to keep hold of that Huntsman Society because. Yeah, so Irving goes to Huntsman. I mean, Max could move over, but I think he just gets called out, and yeah, I don't think Chris wants to have a fight on one draw against a stud and a draw with 2 Ghost Rock available to him as well. Old Man Dross making the long route to Jackson Strike. He doesn't actually have to move to Town Square first. Probably just to see if Max was going to move. Jake moving back home, so he was actually at Circle M. Not sure for what reason. I mean, just to defend. But Quaterman going to move to call him out. So yeah, we're passing. A bit of a problem for so it seems that Chris is struggling to find either dudes or deeds that he wants to play. He's through his deck once already though, so he's been playing a fair few number of cards as it is, so I'm not sure what he's expecting to find on if he or what he's not getting that he's looking for, because he's had a lot of shootout actions. He's played a couple of deeds. He's not got a lot of control points, and Dan's on 3, but he's not immediately under pressure for game here. It's Irving could call out Old Man McDrost at the start of this turn. This is, I think, a key one for Chris to win. If he doesn't, then Old Man McDross will reduce Irving's influence to 0, and by which case then he will be in check. Max would have to go over to the Huntsman or Circle M and try and defend it on his own. So it's a pair of kings for Chris versus King High, I think a pair of jacks for Dan. So Dan is going to win that. And yeah, it's just the moment it's finding. He's just not got the money income, Chris. Then that is the problem with the high value deeds. The better value, the better efficiency deeds are much lower in values. Lula's Exploit for Dan, going to give him some more Ghost Rock for using that force field. And I think a mistake there by Dan. He should have just. I think possibly because he hasn't unbooted his Old Man McDrost, who should be unbooted. He then could have used that to reduce Irving's influence to 0. And then at which point it forces Chris to have to play a dude or move Max, and here the Quatermans come after Irving. So yeah, fancy new hats onto Chris. That would have saved in this turn. And this is the turn where you don't want to be playing a deed, I think, in Chris's case. He has at the moment got 5 influence. But it would have been just 3, and there's already 3 on the table. He puts the 4th down. This is what happens, is that Max is going to have to contest the deed. I think it was check. No, it wasn't check before then. He needs to call out Irving first. Yeah, so he's trading the force field to the Quaterman. I'm not sure. Yeah, there we go. There's unbooting the Old Man Drost. He should have been unbooted a long time ago. Circle M, drawing a card. Always just, I think, a default action to do unless you're particularly waiting on something. Dan is calling out Chris Irving. I think this is where you have to defend with Max as well, surely. Chris with 5 cards. I mean, if he's not got anything else to play, and if he loses Irving, it's game over. So, well, actually, no, it's not game over. I think because he goes to the deed where he goes to the Huntsman Society. No one can move to Huntsman. Cheating through of a kind. Whereas if he moved to Union, he lost by a lot, then yes, it would have gone horribly wrong. But they draw there, actually, I think. So Dan loses Jake. But he's still got 4 influence. And this is the problem. Chris just doesn't have the influence to move. Yeah, Dan is not losing. Yes, the Quaterman would have to move to Huntsman. He'd then be booted, and Max could move to Union Casino to make sure he gets the money next turn. So not game yet, but it's looking a little dire for Chris. I presume he's going to want the money from Union Casino rather than. But no, he doesn't move. Well, I suppose he doesn't need to move unless the Quaterman moved across. He perhaps could have gone for Circle M. Although Dan does have a lot of income at the moment. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 minus 3, so still 5 income. So even if he loses low ball, he still gets an effective 4. So not really worth going after the Circle M. Full house for Dan. I think less than a full house for Chris. He's got a Blake Ranch there on 7, which I assume is much off value. He's looking at Fly to the Lepus. He's sending Irving and Olmo at Drost, but it does not send the Quaterman home. He cannot be. Yes, cards cannot move or boot Quaterman, and Fly to Lepus is attempting to move him. I think it's Lepus. I think he had a cheating hand as well, so he doesn't get to boot them. No, it's only a shootout. Sorry, you boot them. It's an extra dude if you're legal. Chris, looking at his hand, he's he's got a deed, but not sure he wants to play that because that's going to just risk things. Yeah, so he's got a point blank and. He's got a telegraph office, coach whip there. But that's game, yes. So Dan, I think he can get all the control points. There had to be a shootout in order to win it. Max moves to Huntsman or Quaterman to. I mean, Dan's he's still got a lot of cards there to do something, but Max can always come out and at least contest the Huntsman Society. So, reasonably quick game there. I think Chris just got unlucky with his draws. He didn't get any dudes that he could play, and that's really what you want from Max Bain. You're booting him to play all your dudes and go from there. But if you just don't see the dudes or you don't have the money to pay for them, then you're going to get shot like that. And I think it was perhaps a mistake trying to invent the Union Casino with Irving and booting him because Dan was always going to come after him then and go after him. But thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with next week with another video. That'll be the first elimination round, so I think top 8 of the Worcester Sheriff. So 5 rounds. Dan undefeated over the 5 Swiss rounds. I think Chris is 4-1, so they'll both feature in the top 8. But yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.